My dear Earth brothers and sisters. Emerelda here. I haven't been channeled in a while. For those who missed the earlier channelings, I'm a Pleiadian woman who was a squad commander, which is a role similar to a sergeant on Earth. I led small groups of soldiers into battle. Then I got captured by reptilians. I was tortured and raped, got rescued, and I'm now working through that trauma. Thankfully, I have an amazing husband and children. I can't imagine what I'd do without them. Enough about me. I've heard that some Earth people are thinking that if they could only get on a Pleiadian spaceship, then their life would be perfect. Well, certainly your life would substantially improve. That is absolutely true. And frankly, if it were up to me, we would have intervened or beamed you up or landed on Earth already. But it's not up to me. Still, if you were beamed up, most likely your life wouldn't be perfect. Much better, yes. Perfect, no. Why? Because wherever you go, there you are. So even if you're on a Pleiadian spaceship, you'll still be yourself. You'll still carry your own baggage with you. I'm currently living on a Pleiadian spaceship, and my life isn't perfect. And yes, I'm traumatized, but then again, probably so are you. Almost every Earth person has undergone some amount of trauma. Trauma doesn't have to mean undergoing some extreme thing. It can simply be not receiving enough love as a child. Which is the case for most Earth people. It can mean repeated worries about money. It can mean not being free. Which is the case for pretty much everyone on Earth. It can mean your parents demanding that you are a certain way, or that you believe a certain thing. And then you have to choose between betraying yourself, versus losing some amount of love from your parents, etc. Any pain that isn't observed and felt, but that instead gets repressed and sticks in your subconscious, can be seen as trauma. Sure, there are different degrees of trauma, and some amount of trauma can certainly be lived with. Still, almost everyone on Earth has some amount of trauma. And yes, that does affect people's quality of life. And until you deal with that, you're going to carry it with you, even if you get beamed up to a Pleiadian spaceship. Now sure, just being around Pleiadians and being in a good and safe environment will certainly help. And you'll have access to healers and teachers if you want, but they aren't just going to magically vacuum up and erase your trauma. What they're going to offer you instead is the chance to work through your trauma. Because that way you get the corresponding lessons and the golden chunks of wisdom. Now yes, those healers and teachers absolutely will help. But still, you will have to face your pain and feel your feelings and have those tough conversations. Let me share a bit more about myself. In what feels like the very distant past, I remember being completely happy and non-resistant. I remember pretty much constantly being in the flow state. Years blended together, and it was such an easy and effortless state of existence. There was so much pleasure and grace and laughter. Then I got captured by reptilians. And everything changed. Recently, I was watching a group of other Pleiadians. They were happy and they were dancing and they were just completely out of their head and in the present moment. And I got so incredibly angry at them. Even though logically speaking, they were doing nothing wrong. There was no reason for me to get angry at them just for being carefree and happy. I was angry because I can't get there anymore. That's not me anymore. Everything has become complicated. I can't stop thinking. I can't stop overthinking. I can't just be. And of course, those Pleiadians listened compassionately to me, but they also stood their ground and didn't apologize. Of course, the distortion was on my side. Why would they apologize? But the pain is still there. So, suppose that today as Pleiadians beam you up. And suppose we respect you enough that we're ourselves around you. Certainly, your life would improve. No argument there. Suppose you saw a group of Pleiadians just go into ecstasy on the dance floor. If you join them, it'll just feel like dancing to you. Sure, the room is a bit higher tech, but it won't feel that different from just dancing on an Earth dance floor. It's just that those Pleiadians haven't been traumatized, and you have, and that's why you probably won't go into ecstasy. Let's say that afterwards they invite you to beam down to some safe planet and go take a walk in nature with them. You accept. To you it's a nice walk in some really pretty and vibrant nature, with some beautiful flowers and plants. There's nice feeling energy all around you. But while enjoyable, ultimately it's just a walk. During the walk, you may still be plagued with some old thoughts. Meanwhile your Pleiadian companions seem completely at peace and present and one with everything, and not bothered by old thoughts at all. Maybe in some beautiful spot in nature, one Pleiadian leans close to another, and they slowly start kissing, and then having sex. Perhaps that makes you uncomfortable. Or perhaps not, and you watch, and to you it just looks like two pretty people having sex. It doesn't look special to you. Meanwhile, the other Pleiadians are watching it as if it's some kind of sacred and transformative ritual. They seem to be drinking in the energies and they seem transfixed by it. Maybe another Pleiadian looks you in the eyes and slowly reaches to touch your cheek. That touch seems intended just for the touch itself, with no neediness or agenda behind it. You feel that you could either flow into an intimate sexual experience with them, or into an intimate non-sexual experience with them, or of course just politely refuse the touch. Maybe you'll be too much in your head, or too split internally, to just make an uncomplicated choice, whether that's saying no, or flowing into one of the flavors of intimacy. All the other Pleiadians seem to easily and effortlessly make uncomplicated choices, with no hard feelings or second guessing being involved. Maybe you gave a no in the moment, and then hours later you're still in doubt or conflicted about that, because part of you wanted to have sex with that beautiful person. Or maybe you had sex, and to you it was just very good sex with a beautiful and generous and skilled person, while your partner seemed to connect and draw in the whole universe through that act. You really enjoyed it, and you had what Earth people would consider a great sexual experience, but your partner seemed to get 10 times as much pleasure out of it as you did. And you keep trying to work out what exactly the two of you are now. Are you two dating and potentially heading for something serious? Or are you casual sex buddies? Or was this just a one-time thing? And your partner laughs in a delighted way and says, I had an amazing time too. Let's keep spending time together and being around each other, and see what develops between us. And they're happy to keep talking to you during the walk back, but unwilling to pin themselves at this point in time to a specific concept. It's too early for that. Besides, what do labels matter? What will unfold, will unfold. What will you two do tomorrow? Let's see tomorrow. And then you return, and it's a bit late, so you have to accept what's on the menu if you want a human prepared meal. And dinner today is some kind of fully liquid meal drink. It's delicious, it sure seems healthy, and it doesn't weigh you down or feel heavy in your stomach. But still, you drink the meal drink, and it's good, but you're also distractedly looking around you. And the drink is gone before you know it, and you wonder, that one drink was my entire dinner. Meanwhile the Pleiadians seem to be fully and single-mindedly absorbed in the act of having the drink, and they drink more slowly than you did. Perhaps you wonder what you're doing wrong. But the other Pleiadians mind read you and say that you're not doing anything wrong. And then they continue to derive great satisfaction from their dinner while you're left feeling a bit unfulfilled. Perhaps you get annoyed at the other Pleiadians for being performative. But they really aren't putting on a show. This is just what reality is like for them. And they really don't perceive the way you're doing things as being wrong. They're having experiences, you're having experiences, what's the problem? Oh, you wanted different experiences. Okay, then next time just choose to have different experiences. Problem solved. Oh, you think it's more complicated than that? Well, yes, if you choose to make things more complicated than that, then it's more complicated than that. Whereas if you choose not to make it more complicated than that, then it's not. If you don't want things to be complicated, then just choose not to make them complicated. It's up to you how you respond to that. Maybe you wonder if this meal drink is actually sufficient, because afterwards you don't feel full or heavy or tired or sluggish, like you might after an Earth dinner. Now yes, your stomach seems satisfied and you're not hungry anymore, but on Earth you would probably have had more than just that meal drink. Perhaps that's why those Pleiadians all have slender, though healthy looking, bodies? In any case, they assure you that there are enough nutrients and energy in this drink. And also, many meals do have solid food and aren't just one drink. Pleiadians just value variety, and occasional one-drink meals are a different kind of meal experience for them. Some Pleiadians bid you goodnight in a manner that to you seems overly intimate, with lengthy silent and loving eye contact, or with longer hugs than you're used to. Then again, even Pleiadians who clearly have no sexual or romantic interest in you act like that, and they also do that with each other, so you guess that's just normal for them. And one of them reads your mind and looks at you like a person might look at a skittish abused animal who's unaccustomed to normal friendly contact. And that person steps in to give you an extra long hug. Up to you if you appreciate that or if that triggers you. It's not that Pleiadians see you as inferior to them. They recognize that you have skills and experiences they don't due to your time on Earth, as well as more raw psychic potential. But they do see you as, well, traumatized. If you had sex that afternoon, maybe that person telepathically sends a very blatantly sexual message to you that's just the raw unfiltered image of the specific way in which they would like to have sex with you again tonight. And then secondarily they send an image of you two first going for an evening walk and having a drink and talking some more, before going to their place and having sex. To you the message might seem obscene in its straightforwardness and bluntness and specificness. It's not a nicely dressed up want to go on an evening walk? Or want to get a drink? Message that you might get on Earth. But Pleiadians are mind readers, so it's normal for people to just see each other's actual thoughts, including raw unfiltered lust if it's there. And your partner's raw thoughts are what you're getting. And besides, there's nothing shameful about lust, so why dress it up? Why not just share what you're actually thinking, in all its straightforwardness? Sure, on Earth if someone was that blatantly sexual in their communication, you might worry that if you refused sex they would get angry. But here you clearly feel that you could say no if you wanted, and that would be safe, both physically and emotionally. The other person is clear about what they're thinking, but they're not demanding that you think or feel the same way. It would be completely fine if you responded, "I see that you want to have sex again tonight. I am unsure about that, but yes, let's have an evening walk and more conversation." So, it's up to you how you respond. And then maybe you realize that several people around you also mind read that very sexual invitation you just got. Would that make you embarrassed? They're not embarrassed. Some people give you a knowing smile. Maybe you have a fun night, and then a bath, and then you tell your sex partner that you're going to sleep. You ask them if they want to go to sleep with you. And they say that they're only going to meditate for approximately 2 Earth hours this cycle. But they're happy to cuddle with you as you sleep for 8 Earth hours, and they'll do their meditation during that time period, and do some thinking, and they'll listen to a telepathic lecture and perhaps do some astral traveling during the rest of the time. Maybe they'll do some telepathic work while you sleep. And then it's up to you if that makes you feel happy or inadequate. So, absolutely life in the Pleiades, or on a Pleiadian ship, is better than life on Earth. If or when you live here, you will be happier. But still, wherever you go, there you are. You'll still be yourself. Our living situations are much easier and more pleasant, but the primary reason most Pleiadians are so happy is that they simply haven't been traumatized, probably unlike you, and hence they feel great even if they just go on a normal walk. While it's harder, on Earth you can also reach the state where you feel great even if you're just going on a normal walk. I get that you may very well feel that you still want to be beamed up despite what I just said, and you're entirely right to think that. Yes, being beamed up would improve your life overall. And if it were up to me you'd get beamed up today. I guess I'm just saying, maybe manage your expectations, and realize that any personal work you do now will continue to benefit you after we make contact with you. While yes, overall life among Pleiadians will be better, it may also actually be more triggering than life on Earth is. And if you're ever beamed up and you feel a bit bothered by all those Pleiadians just being at peace and regularly blissing out, I empathize. Believe me, I so very much empathize. I do think that both you, and myself, will eventually get to that state too, where we're deeply enjoying just having a bowl of soup. I'm working on my healing and spiritual progress regularly, and I know you are too. Still, if initially you don't quite feel at home on a Pleiadian ship, and you feel like spending some time with a friend who also doesn't quite feel at home, you're very welcome to come hang out with me. We could be a little weird together. We could not quite fit in together. We could be a little broken together. With love. Emerelda.